Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to make 2022's Pigmas ornaments. So for this, I am using about 4 1/4 packets of Model Magic air drying clay, which is Crayola's air drying clay brand. I'm also using tin foil. I'm going to be using paper towels, scissors, different kinds of paints, and a Mod Podge. So you'll see here I'm cutting 2 rectangular square type shapes of tin foil, and those we're actually going to use for the base. So I'm cutting 2 of those because I'm making 2 ornaments. If you're making 3 ornaments, then you would just use more. As well as I used a total of 4 paper towels, 2 per pig, and I didn't very hardly scrunch them up. I actually left them pretty loose so that they weren't too compact. So as you can see, and I'm just using some Scotch tape to hold everything together just a little bit. I'm not trying to make something perfect, just something where it won't crack as much while drying. And I was also on a tight schedule, so I didn't have as much time for things to dry. But yeah, so while I work on that, I'm gonna go over the list of materials again. So we need tin foil, we need paper towel, we need string, paint, air dry clay. Oh, and right now I'm tying the string around, and then I'm going to tie it at the top to make the little loop, and you're gonna see how that goes down. Okay, so there is 1 pig. Now let's make the other one. Oh, boom, look, both shapes are done. Okay. So now we're gonna wrap this little thing in tin foil. Careful not to wrap the string part that you want exposed. We want that part to remain sealed. So I'm just using a little tape so that it doesn't open up while sculpting and kind of destroy it. Okay, so I've just kind of rolled it. Now it doesn't have to be a perfect shape. Oh, and now we have 2. It doesn't have to be a perfect shape. We're just kind of going to do our best. So here's my Model Magic air drying clay. You can use whatever air drying clay you want. It's just I have a decent sized cardboard box of it in my basement with a whole bunch of these little packages. It was like 70 bucks Canadian, and I love using this. So now I'm just gonna knead it. So this is a quick little thing of me kneading it. It took longer than you'll see in this video. I actually pause it because I want to make sure that it's really, really flexible. And now I'm holding up that string, and I use 1 packet of clay, 1 for the bottom, 1 packet of clay for the top. If I were to do this again, I would just combine the 2 packages as opposed to doing it separately. I think it would have been a lot easier. So now I'm thinning it out a little bit because I thought it was a little chunky, and just trying to lightly press it. I don't need it fully to be binded, but I need it to be good enough where it's not going to fall around. Now, because we're getting to the top, I'm wrapping the string in tin foil so it doesn't become covered in clay. And you're going to see that a little bit better when we don't have the tin foil top. Now, I have flattened out my little thing, and I cut a X. So I cut, and you'll see we have a little X with a little peekaboo hole now, and I fit my string over that and then just kind of sculpt around it. At this stage, I can't actually tell which one this is. Also, in the description box, I'm using water to smooth and blend everything together. Again, mine are not perfect. Mine have lots of little bumps and seams and everything, but I tried my best. Now we have 2 of them, and now I'm going to sculpt these little ear weird things. So I'm using a little bit of water to make like an adhesive kind of sticking part. But I'm going to put the material list in the description box, as well as the link to 2021's Pigmas ornaments if you want to try those. Those take a little less time and less talent sculpting wise. So yeah, or I guess it just takes a lot less materials. So yeah. But okay, so I've made my little ears. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like I have pumpkins with ears right now. But in my opinion, I think it gets a lot better as it goes. So I'm just sculpting our other piggy's ear here. And I might actually be able to go through the supply list in time. So tin foil, paper towel, string, paint, tape. Oh, and we're moving on. Okay, those are my colors. So let's start with this one. Don't mind my paint palette. Let's start with the color pink. I'm going to paint the ears just a solid pink. It is a little streaky, but I kind of like it because it gives a transparent kind of look, which I think works for who this is. I wonder if anyone can guess. It's probably going to be pretty easy, but you know. All right, let's try and go through this really quick. So tinfoil, paper towel, string, paint, tape, air dry clay, water, scissors. Okay, so now we have 2 little ears painted pink. Oh, and look, those are like a brownie reddy color. And now I am using this really, really pale pastel yellow. On the back of the pic, I had to figure out which side I liked best. And I am doing like a little bit of marking. Also, this took several hours. I want to say maybe 2 to 3 hours from start to finish, just because of the drying time. So we're going to put that one to the side, and we're going to work on this little muffin's markings. So I'm actually going to tell you guys. So the pink one ears is Snowball. The one I'm currently working on is Cookie. And Snowball has this very, very faint, actually it's kind of hard to see, marking on the back, and it's just like a tanny yellow, very faint, practically white marking on her back, as opposed to Cookie. She has these darker brown parts that go around her eye, and then on the back of her, which I'm about to paint, she has this large tan strip. Now she does have another little marking, which is on her butt. On the very, very bottom of her butt, she has this little brown mark. Now you're gonna see here, I'm actually kind of gonna forget it. Not gonna lie, I did for a second, because it's on the very, very bottom of her butt, and I was thinking of her face. So yeah. Okay, so now I did a second coat, kind of hard to tell. I also I'm about to clean up the areas using a little bit of white acrylic paint, because you can see there. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it for the ears. I'm gonna clean up Cookie's facial markings a little bit, and do that whole scene. So I'm quickly doing just a little ear marking. I really like to go out of frame because I'm concentrating. So I'm not actually looking at the camera while doing this. Also, my lights look slightly cool. They're actually quite warm. And when I was filming, the lights looked horrible on camera. They weren't actually that bad though. Okay, so I'm trying to show you all that I went up and fixed all the seams. Okay, now I'm going to use some black acrylic paint and do their eyes. Snowball's eyes I did first, and I came to the conclusion here, because you're going to see I'm going to sketch them out with a paintbrush. Didn't work too well. So now I'm about to go in with a black marker. I don't show that on camera, and then I just paint over top. I'm going to explain to you in a moment here why that doesn't work. So I actually had to go through and do a patching up job on that. But I'm going to give them little shiny eyes. I'm using a dotting tool. I will put a link to that in the description for those of you who want to check out a dotting tool. I can also put the link to the giant box of white air dry clay for those of you who care. I'll also put all of the supplies I used. Oh, I'm painting her nose, as well as the link to last year's ornaments. While I'm painting that nose, I will tell you last year's ornaments. Last year's ornaments were these little circular discs. One of them was large and had Cookie and Snowball on them. And then I had two smaller ones, one with each of their faces on it. And on the back, I just wrote their name, Pigmas, and then the year. All right, I'm giving you a little 360. Oh, and Cookie's done. Woo! I got really excited about those transitions for some reason. And oh yes, I did paint them little front feet. No, I did not take the time to do the back. Now, here is why I don't recommend using the Crayola black marker that I used, because Mod Podge is water-based, and so is Crayola markers. That is why they're washable, and that is why they work really well for preschoolers and grade 1s, because they can't handle any form of a permanent marker. Oh, and we're done. They have a nice finish on them. They're in the tree. Merry Pigmas. See you next time. Bye.